live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, it's your national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
And I'm Dilanjali Anand, and these are your top stories for tonight. "1,900 metric tons of imported rice unloaded at the Colombo harbour. 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer from the Russian government to be utilized for paddy and coconut. The President convenes a meeting with the Ministry of Finance. Instructions to strengthen the finance system of the country. The all-share price index of the Colombo stock market surpasses 14,000 limit for the first time. Sterilization of monkeys and torque macaques starts from Matale. Spread of leptospirosis or rat fever confirmed in Jaffna. Names of the remaining 4 posts of the national list MPs of SJB forwarded to the Election Commission. Beechcraft received from Australia joins the Sri Lanka Air Force fleet. A drone attack on a motorcade carrying humanitarian aid in the Gaza Strip. 12 reported dead. Now for this and other stories in detail on your top story. 1,900 metric tons of rice have been imported to Colombo harbour from the last 10th up to today.
Sri Lanka Customs says 17 containers have arrived in the harbour by this morning. Now, Customs media spokesman, Additional Director General Sivali Arukgoda said there are 440 metric tons of raw and boiled rice varieties in this stock. Customs media spokesman, Additional Director General Sivali Arukgoda said that relevant documents have been received by the Sri Lanka Customs to release 17 imported containers by this morning. He said that many containers have already been released. He added that a stock of 440 metric tons of rice have been imported at present. He further said that by the 20th of this month, all imported stocks must arrive in the island. Minister Vasantha Samarasinga said that the government has taken a decision to ease the shortage of rice at the market. He said that now that imported rice stocks are being unloaded, he added that the rice shortage will be solved by another 2 or 3 days. He further said that after the rice will not be imported to the country. He also said that the government has been able to create an environment for the people to purchase rice from the market without any trouble or haste. Legal action have been taken against shop owners who sold rice at higher prices in several areas. It is expected to continuously monitor the rice manufacturing and supplying of the major rice processing entities in the Polonnaruwa district. 25% of the national demand is supplied by major rice mill owners. Large-scale paddy mills and paddy shortages of the private sector in the Minipe farming colony in Kandy district were specially checked yesterday by the officials of the Kandy unit of the Consumer Affairs Authority. It was reported that legal action were taken against several shop owners who sold rice at high prices in several areas. Cases have been filed against 2 shops in the Ambalantara town on charge of selling rice exceeding the government certified price. The Consumer Affairs Authority today inspected the rice sales outlets in the Mariakad area in Maradana. Officials focused their attention on non-display of price list, concealing rice stocks, selling at higher prices and many other related problems.
A ship containing 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer received as a donation from the government of Russia arrived in the island today. Minister K.D. Lalkantha and a number of others accepted the consignment of fertilizer officially. Cabinet approval had been granted recently in order to receive the consignment of fertilizer under the World Food Programme, and an agreement in this regard had also been signed. 50% of the consignment of 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer will be provided for paddy cultivation and the rest will be provided for coconut cultivation. A group of officials including Ministers K.D. Lalkantha and Bima Ratnayaka visited the port premises in order to accept the consignment. Minister K.D. Lalkantha appreciated the cooperation shown by Uralkali Company, the government of Russia and its people to ensure food safety in Sri Lanka and further strengthen it as a part of long-standing friendship and cooperation. The minister also added that it has been planned to distribute fertilizer free of cost on a priority basis by a state fertilizer company to the farmers who have already started paddy cultivation. This step has been taken considering the commencement of paddy cultivation of Maha season in the year 2024-2025. The donated fertilizer will be used in this paddy cultivation. The rest of the consignment of fertilizer will be provided for coconut plantation, the minister added.
Russian tourists are coming more and more to Sri Lanka. It's one of the most important fields of our cooperation. They enjoy when they come to this beautiful island, and also it's beneficially profitable process. Russians have the possibility to spend their vacations on the island. On the other hand, it's a good source of income for your budget. So we do believe that the process will continue and another contribution, very important contribution for our friendship and bilateral cooperation.
Now, President Anura Kumar Dissanayake today instructed the officials of the Finance Ministry to take necessary measures on strengthening and streamlining the financial system in the country. These instructions were given at a meeting held in the Presidential Secretariat today. The President instructed the central bank to take all possible measures as an independent entity to stabilize the financial situation in the country. The government will provide its support to the maximum and provide required facilities for this purpose. The President also stressed the importance of creating a proper mechanism to make banks' financial systems more efficient. In addition, the President pointed out that the central bank should be implemented new policies to assure the sustainability of the financial stability of the finance system through closely studying the growth in the economy and the finance system. Several ministers, deputy ministers, government officials and several others were present at this occasion.
The oil share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded an all-time high today for the first time ever. It has passed the 14,000 mark at the end of today's trading.
The Colombo Stock Exchange achieved a historical milestone today as the oil share price index surpassed the 14,000 mark for the first time, closing at an all-time high of 14,035, an impressive 150-point gain compared to the previous day. Year-to-date, the oil share price index has delivered a remarkable return of 31.74%. Meanwhile, the S&P SL 20 index also showed a strong performance, rising by 43 points to close at 4,186. Market activity was robust, with a total share volume of 282,050,103 and a turnover of 7.36 billion.
Now, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation says that people should not have any fuel psychosis over a shortage of fuel. Chairman of the corporation, Janaka Rajkarna, stated that fuel stocks have been ordered until April next year. He made these remarks at a media briefing held in the Government Information Department today. Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Janaka Rajkarna, said that a fuel ship that came to Sri Lanka has been sent back. He said that some elements spread news that there can be a shortage of fuel in the country due to this incident. He added that the fuel ship, which was ordered by the United Petroleum Company, has been sent back on the 2nd of this month without unloading the fuel stocks. He further said that this is not a stock ordered by the Petroleum Corporation. He also said that due to this incident there will be no shortage of fuel, since the corporation has ample stocks of fuel at present. He said that in addition, the corporation has ordered fuel stocks until April next year. Janaka Rajkarna said that therefore no one should have fear of having a fuel shortage in the island. Views were expressed at this briefing on maintaining the electricity tariff for another 6 months without revision. Director General of the Power Sector Reforms Bureau of the CEB, Engineer Pubuduni Roshan, said that the board has to bear a cost of 268 billion rupees for the next and the first 6 months of the next year. He said that if the existing tariff system is continued for the next 6 months, the board will have an income of 229 billion rupees. He added that then there will be a shortage of 39 billion rupees. He further said that if we go to a tariff revision at present, there will be a problem in the income generation. He said therefore the board has decided to maintain the power tariff without a change for the next 6 months. Chairman of the Ceylon Electricity Board, Dr. Tilak Siam Balapitiya, said that to generate and supply an electricity unit to consumers, a cost of 31 rupees is charged. He said that, however, the real cost is higher than that. He further said that considering this matter, the board expects to reduce the cost up to 24 rupees per unit. He also said that this may take some time to achieve.
A pilot project has been started from Matale today in order to sterilize monkeys and talk macaques in order to control crop damage done by these animals. Many areas of the island have been affected by the damages caused by monkeys and talk macaques, whereas the affected people have to face severe difficulties due to this menace. Steps have been taken to release these animals to their former habitats after being sterilized at the Animal Protection Center at Giritale. Monkeys and talk macaques will be trapped and caught as part of a pilot project started in Matale. The spread of these animals will be thoroughly controlled under this project, to which 4.5 million rupees have been allocated to be implemented island-wide in the future. Residents of the Pannalavila Uvaparnagam area are also affected by the menace of talk macaques. A herd of about 150 talk macaques are frequenting the village from morning to night and are causing damages to a large number of crops. Representatives of farmers' organizations and villagers belonging to 31 divisions together participated in a protest yesterday in Navalapitiya, Gang Ihalakorale. They demanded to provide solutions to the damages caused to their plantations and villages by talk macaques and wild animals. The threat of wild elephants has also affected the farmers of Attanankadavala, Alahara. The villagers point out that apart from the damages caused by severe rainy condition, extensive damage has also been caused. A large number of crops, including coconut plantations, have been damaged due to wild elephants from the Anuradhapura Moragoda reserve. The affected villages are situated in the Talava Divisional Secretariat Division. The farmers also say that they have to face economic difficulties due to losses in crops caused by this menace. In the meantime, the same problem was taken up in the Kegol District Development Committee meeting as well. Parliamentarian Kabir Hashim said that the crop damage caused by these animals is severe in the district and it affects the entire country. Minister of Environment Dr. Dhammika Pattabandi observed that an honest effort is being done to address this issue, and during the election the suggestion of the people was to provide a quick solution to the problem. He added that the issue is a priority for the new government and action will be taken. Parliamentarian Kabir Hashim said that when he was the minister during 2015 and 2019, it was estimated that there were around 89,000 talk macaques in Kegol district. He added that although efforts were taken to find out a methodology, it has not been successful. He also said the problem has been aggravated after 6 years. According to Minister Samantha Vidyaratna, nearly 75% of land in this country is faced with damages due to wild animals. Minister of Plantation and Community Infrastructure Samantha Vidyaratna questioned whether the problem of wild animals surfaced after the new government took charge. He also questioned that the increase in the population of elephants and giant squirrels has been due to the same reason. He pointed out that the previous governments failed to address this issue, and by now about 75% of the land in the country face some kind of damages caused due to wild animals. He added that along with elephants, humans too have lost their lives, that young coconuts are being devoured by talk macaques and giant squirrels, and this has been the reason to the shortage in the harvest of coconuts. A solution has to be found to the menace of wild elephants and monkeys.
It has been found that the cause of the death of several persons in the Jaffna area has been the leptocirrhosis, commonly known as rat fever. According to the epidemiology unit, it has been confirmed when the samples of the dead were tested. Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Anil Jasingh, said that a meeting was held yesterday through Zoom technology, and it could be confirmed that as per the data available by now, the disease has been recognized as leptocirrhosis, which is commonly known as rat fever. He added that a team of doctors from the epidemiology unit has already reached Jaffna. Consultant physician Tushani Dabrera said that 24 patients suspected to be suffering from leptocirrhosis are under treatment at the Point Pedro Base Hospital, and 4 of them have been transferred to the intensive care unit. She added that another 2 patients are in the ICU of the Jaffna Teaching Hospital. Dr. Tushani also said that the increase in the occurrence of leptocirrhosis this year has been observed, and a national committee of specialists has been established in order to address the situation. She also said that an operation cell has been opened in the Jaffna district to evaluate the situation. She observed that it has been advised to seek medical attention whenever fever and body pain is experienced by any person.
Names of 4 persons have been sent to the Election Commission for the remaining National List Parliament membership from the Samaga Janabala Vega. The party received 5 seats from the National List in the general election, and Ranjit Madhumabandara was appointed previously. Accordingly, for the rest 4 Parliament member posts in the National List, Mano Ganeshan, Sujeeva Senasinghe, Nizam Karia, and Muttu Mohammed have been named. In the meantime, Sri Lanka Muslim Congress had taken a court order preventing the filing of the national list vacancies from Samag Jana Balavega. This step has been taken since a candidate was not named from the party. Somehow, the name of a member from the SLMC has been included in the SJB national list by the afternoon today. A discussion was also held in the office of the leader of the opposition. In this regard, General Secretary of the SJB, Ranjit Madhu Bandara, said that action has been taken in accordance with the agreement signed with the alliance parties. He added that there is a memorandum of understanding with Rauf Hakim of SLMC and the party will have to take further action in variable according to that.
Now, the US Embassy in Sri Lanka, in partnership with the Ministry of Culture and Department of Archaeology, proudly celebrated the reopening of the newly restored Old Kandyan King's Palace, an archaeology museum located within the sacred temple of the Tooth Relic Complex. The ceremony was attended by US Ambassador Julie Chung and Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs Professor Hiniduma Sunil Senevi. This significant cultural preservation project was made possible through over 77 million rupee grant from the US Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation.
The United Arab Emirates has expressed its support for the government's program to create a developed Sri Lanka. UAE Ambassador Khaled Nazar Al Amir stated this at a meeting held today with President Anur Kumar Dissanayake at Presidential Secretariat. The ambassador further said that they provide support to increase investments in Sri Lanka and technical know-how to introduce digitalization and modern technology. There are about 150,000 Sri Lankan migrant workers in the UAE. Attention was also focused to find more opportunities to increase this amount. Attention was also focused to increase the export market opportunities between the two countries. Meanwhile, Canadian government has also expressed their support to the government's new initiative to prevent fraud and corruption in Sri Lanka. This support was expressed at a meeting held today between President Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanat Kumarnaika and Canadian High Commissioner Eric Walsh. The meeting commenced at the Presidential Secretariat. They also focused attention on sharing experience of preventing fraud and corruption in Canada with the Sri Lankan government.
Air Force Chief Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa says that the responsibility entrusted with the Air Force of ensuring the safety of the Indian Ocean would be maintained strongly. He made this observation participating on the occasion of the handing over of Beechcraft King Air 350 aircraft donated by the Government of Australia to the Sri Lankan Air Force. The introduction of Beechcraft King Air 350 aircraft to the Sri Lankan Air Force was held in the morning today at the Ratmalana Air Force Base. Defence Secretary Air Vice Marshal Sampath Tuyakonta was the chief guest. A group of officials, including the High Commissioner of Australia in Sri Lanka, Paul Stevens, Commander of Joint Agency Task Force Operations Sovereign Borders of Australia, Rear Admiral Bress Sonter, were present to inspect the aircraft at Ratmalana Air Force Base. Later on, the aircraft was officially handed over to the Sri Lanka Air Force. An exchange of mementos also took place between the two parties. The aircraft, equipped with state-of-the-art technological system, has also been inbuilt with operational system named ProLine 2. The craft also carries a surveillance camera system having HD facilities which can observe distant scenarios closely. It also has the ability to cover a large area in observation mapping, an AI technology system which can easily recognize landmarks and persons.
Prime Minister Dr. Hardy Amarasuri received a courtesy call from Secretary General of the French Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Anne-Marie de Cortes. The meeting was focused on strengthening the bilateral partnership between France and Sri Lanka. Secretary General de Cortes expressed France's commitment to deepening the relationship between the two countries. The discussion highlighted the importance of the Regional Centre for Maritime Studies agreement and explored opportunities for further cooperation in various areas. Prime Minister Amarasuri emphasized Sri Lanka's desire to strengthen ties with France. The meeting identified key areas for potential cooperation, including education, especially quality of education, strengthen vocational education, climate change and environmental protection, and maritime cooperation. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri says that policies should be formulated and decisions should be made based on data that is in the best interest of school children, and that officials should deal with the public humanly as a group providing public services. She stated this while participating in a workshop held at the Colombo Foundation Institute yesterday, preparing relevant strategies to transform the existing education system. Based on the points included in the new government's policy statement, many important issues needed to be brought about a new transformation in the educational stages from early childhood development to higher education and vocational education were discussed here. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri said that all should understand that education is a transformative thing. Beyond acquiring knowledge, there must be an individual transformation as well as a social transformation as a collective. The country should have an education system that can build that transformation. All must be able to see that children have opportunities to open up to the world. All must feel a sense of social responsibility. She stressed that all must not only develop personally, but also as a society. All should feel that we must have social responsibility for that. Country Director for India and Lead Policy, the Government Relations Southeast Asia of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Hari Menon, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri at the Prime Minister's office yesterday. The meeting commenced with Hari Menon provided an overview of the foundation's work, focusing on areas such as health and nutrition, agriculture, urban sanitation, the women's economic empowerment. During the discussion, the foundation highlighted its ongoing initiatives in Sri Lanka, particularly in digital agriculture and digital public infrastructure. These include funding for digital agriculture projects and technical assistance for public infrastructure development. Prime Minister Amarasuri emphasized the government's commitment to digitalization and reducing malnutrition.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that a decision has been taken to continue the partnership of Asian Development Bank to develop health systems in Sri Lanka. He stressed this fact at a meeting held recently with a group of representatives of the Asian Development Bank. The Health Ministry announces that the necessity of implementing a project to digitalize all health institutions in order to enhance the health system, providing additional funds, was stressed at this discussion. They also focused attention to further develop primary, secondary and tertiary health systems and achieving sustainable targets by maintaining an efficient health service. The minister pointed out that the present government has focused special attention to further strengthen primary health service in the island. He requested that the continuous support of the Asian Development Bank for this endeavour. ADB Country Director Health Expert Dai Ling Shen said that they will support to remove current structural obstacles in the Sri Lankan health service.
The annual convocation of the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies held yesterday in Colombo. 241 students received diplomas and certificates for their courses related in international studies. The convocation was the most important calendar event of the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies, which celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. The chief guest of the event was Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri. Guest of honour was the former Deputy Speaker of the People's Majlis of Maldives, Eva Abdullah. The ceremony was held under the patronage of former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, the chairperson of the BCIS.
It exacerbates all the other issues.
Excellencies,
a country's foreign policy is influenced by its geographical location, population, history, economic resources, ideology, government efficiency, quality of diplomacy, as well as by crises and immediate events, technological advancements, international law and institutions. At best, foreign policy should reflect national interests and offer a perspective on human and global interests of the state. It should not be purposed for the gains of a small political elite. Our main national interest at this point this point in time is to stabilize our economy and work towards economic recovery. As a part of Asia, the world's largest region in terms of population, a region that is growing economically, but where geopolitical tensions are rising among international and regional powers, our security and regional stability are likely to be challenged. Right now, Sri Lanka's foreign relations are influenced significantly by our attempts to recover from the economic and debt crisis. But we have important diplomatic recognition earned through some wise and correct actions of the past. The way a government does foreign policy does have an impact on the country's citizens, and it is our duty to safeguard the lives and dignity of all Sri Lankans, especially the most vulnerable groups in our society.
Our people have spoken loud and strongly. First, publicly through the Aragalaya, and now through two successive elections. They have clearly stated that they want a massive change, a radical change. A radical change was the word that was used. I don't know how many of us understand it. Turning upside down the systems of government we have had in this country for several decades. Completely changing the type of leaders we deign to call our leaders. Their ethics, their knowledge, their education. We have had for a long time parliaments full of people who had not even passed their O-levels. The majority of them had not even passed their O-levels. So what kind of knowledge could we have expected from them? But I would hasten to add that only education is also not enough to govern a country with all the problems and the challenges we face. We need goodwill, we need honesty, absolute honesty, and experience. Experienced people to plan and implement government policies. The majority of our people have demanded from the new government they have voted, but also from all of us. We cannot expect a government with little experience, if I may say so, to do it all by themselves. Every one of you have the responsibility to ensure that your governments act as they should and as you wish them to. The people's voice must be heard, not only just in an Aragalaya, but there must be direct people's participation. In the case of those who have studied and qualified in international relations in that field, others in their own fields, the economy.
All of us in the poorer countries, all of us in the debtor nations, we know that the traditional methods of dealing with debt, has not served our countries, it has not served our people well. So we know we need other ways. We need ways that are centered around individual lives, that are centered around the lives of Maldivians in our islands and centered around the Sri Lankans in your villages, in your towns and in your cities, that are centered around your neighbors and your communities, your fisher folk, your women, your children, your elderly, your youth, your marginalized and your vulnerable people. We need ways of dealing with debt. We need policies and strategies and ways that are centered around our people's right to a dignified life. As we do this, Maldives and Sri Lanka, good governance is key. Good governance is everything. Without good governance, however much money is pumped into our countries, whether by the IMF or bilateral, however much money is pumped into our countries, without good governance, it is nothing. Building back, whether from a war, from tsunami, or a pandemic, or from a financial crisis, without good governance, however much money is pumped into our countries, is just wastage, and we will never recover from the vicious cycle of one debt restructuring program after another.
Restoring historical monuments is a value shared by the US and Sri Lanka. Now, the US Embassy in Sri Lanka, in partnership with the Ministry of Culture and Department of Archaeology, proudly celebrated the reopening of the newly restored Old Kandyan King's Palace and Archaeology Museum, located within the sacred temple of the Tooth Relic complex. The ceremony was attended by U.S. Ambassador Julie Chung and Minister of Buddhisasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, Professor Hiniduma Sunil Senevi. This significant cultural preservation project was made possible through over 77 million rupee grant from the U.S. Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation. Initiated in 2021, the project was carried out in 2 phases.
Because of our work here, the old Kandyan King's Palace remains the only royal palace in Sri Lanka with even a roof that's restored to its original design. And this magnificent monument is truly one of the finest examples of the Kandyan traditional architecture. UNESCO declared this place to be an outstanding universal value, and we agree. The restoration of the old Kandyan King's Palace and Archaeology Museum is a testament to the power of partnership between our 2 countries. Over the past 23 years, the Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation has funded projects like today's in more than 140 countries around the world. Here in Sri Lanka, since 2001, the United States worked alongside Sri Lankan archaeologists, historians, and diverse faith communities on 17 projects of cultural and historical importance. In total, these projects have flourished from the $1.3 million from the people of the United States.
Kala Bhushan State Awards Festival 2023 was held yesterday at the Temple Trees with the auspices of Minister Professor Hiniduma Sunil Senevi. The Kala Bhushan State Awards Festival, organized by Buddhisasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs Ministry by the Department of Cultural Affairs, was held for the 39th time this year. The aim was to honor the Sri Lankan senior artists with state awards, appreciating their contribution. 200 artists, including literary figures, media persons and others who rendered an excellent service to various art areas of the country, were awarded with Kala Bhushana.
Now, the Roygam Telly's Awards ceremony will be held this year also. It is being organized for the 21st time. A media meeting in order to bring in awareness in this project has been held in Colombo yesterday. The award ceremony has been organized appreciating telecreations telecast in 2024. Applications are being received for this purpose by now and will be over by the 15th of January. Applications can also be downloaded from www.raigamtellys.lk website. Further information can also be received by dialing 0744 061508 or 0744 62254. Numbers of the Raigam Telly's office. Applications can also be personally handed over to the address Raigam Telly's Secretariat Office, number 23 Valukamaram Road, Colombo 3, or to Laptro Technologies, number 25 Ground Floor, Lucky Plaza Building, Colombo 3. The ceremony to announce nominations would be held on the 28th of February at the Water Sage, Patramulla. The award ceremony has been planned to be held on the 29th of March at the Shangri-La Hotel, Colombo. Chairman of the Raigam Group of Companies, Dr. Ravi Lianage, said that Raigam Tellies can be described as an award ceremony with the highest standard and qualitative value within the last 21 years in Sri Lanka. And we'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned.
Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue.
A total commitment by everybody, every day, will help control dengue. A message from the Ministry of Health.
An Israeli attack on Palestinian security guards escorting a humanitarian aid shipment in the Gaza Strip has killed 12 people and injured dozens. The bombing was the latest Israeli attack targeting security guards escorting humanitarian aid in the Gaza Strip. Medics and local residents told Reuters news agency that at least 30 people were injured, including several in critical condition, following the Israeli attack on today. that targeted civilian guards tasked with securing the aid convoy in the southern part of the war-torn enclave. The attack is only the latest by Israeli forces on humanitarian aid workers.
Prima Kottumi, Fantamai.
And today is the second day of the Lanka T10 cricket tournament.
The fourth match of the tournament between Kandy Bolts and the Nuwara Kings ended without a decision due to the rain. The tournament is being played at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. In today's match, Nuwara Kings won the toss and elected to field. Accordingly, openers of the Kandy Bolts, Patum Nisanka and Chandrapal Hemraj started the inning. When there were 38 runs for 1 wicket in 3.3 overs, the rain disrupted the match. Then the match referees decided to end the match without a decision. All the matches of the tournament are live telecast by ChannelEye of the national television.
Prima Kottumi, Fantamai.
Well, that was a look at your news here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I am Siobhan Pereira together with Dulanjali Ananda. Wish you a pleasant evening. Take care.